William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth.
We got so much going on, so many things happening, but we'd like to welcome to our KNON studios this morning the Honorable Judge Thomas Jones. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Pastor.
Yeah.
How in the world are you?
I'm doing
Pastor
fine.
Tyler?
Yeah.
How you doing?
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Judge Nash.
Yes.
And Constable
Tracy Gully.
Yeah, Tracy Gully. Y'all have a great thing going there in your courthouse. Y'all are ruling strong, but fair.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Could you tell us, in your courthouse, y'all are justice be. What is your job? Basically your job is?
Number one, we are known as the People's Court, where people can come. You don't need legal representation. You have the same laws as if you had an attorney, but you have the right to represent yourself. Mm-hmm. We handle cases, criminal cases on the end, where we deal with traffic tickets, and hopefully we'll talk about truancy a little later on. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we handle civil and small claim cases with the statutory limit of $10,000. Mm-hmm. We also handle peace bonds, where people, neighbors, are not getting along with each other and come to the court for us to intervene and to resolve the issues. Mm-hmm. But what we've done, if you will allow this analogy, you've heard of the Holy Trinity. Right. We're called the Earthly Trinity. We have, if you will.
You three, okay.
And that the three of us, that we are one.
Okay.
And so you have Judge Nash there, and then you have Constable Tracy Gully, mm-hmm. Who heads up the law enforcement arm of it. We have come together. We are elected by the same people. Mm-hmm. So our position is, why don't we work together to better benefit the community that put us into office?
Okay, do your district lines cover basically the same place?
The same area, yes, absolutely.
Okay, what would be the difference between you and Judge Nash? You both are justices of the peace,
well,
but y'all cover the same area.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's the location of each court. Back in the old days, when I say the old days, when you had Judge George Allen, Judge Charles Rose, Judge right. Cleo Steele, mm-hmm. everybody was located in the same building.
Their own things.
Yes. Now, mm-hmm. to better serve our community, Judge Nash is in Lancaster, Texas, mm-hmm. Down on Texas Street.
Right.
And I'm in the Dallas portion of it. They're mm-hmm. at Polk and Camp West.
This is a county
Thank you so much.
Part of government. This is not the city of Dallas, right? And it's more or less Dallas County.
Yes, we handle Dallas County business within the city limits.
Okay.
So we mm-hmm. are within the city limits, but we are Dallas County. Mm-hmm. Our revenue, any revenue that we generate coming through the court, goes to Dallas County.
Okay. Now, when we see people, you don't see, I'm thankful for that. I might be wrong, but I just don't see it as much as I used to. People getting set outdoors, and they're losing their dwelling or where they pay rent or whatever. How does that work?
Well, in Texas, we have the Texas Property Code mm-hmm. that governs an eviction, and it requires that the landlord, if you will, that they follow the law. And under the law, when I say Texas Property Code 24005, mm-hmm. deals with an eviction. Now, the Texas Property Code 91001 deals with a termination when people breach that lease.
Right.
And so, and the law is there to preserve and to protect the right of the tenant and the right of the landlord. What the law calls for, if a tenant fails and refuses to pay their rent timely, the landlord is required to give a written notice, post that notice on the backside of the entry door if they cannot hand it to that person.
Right.
If they fail to do that, the case, when it comes to court, is subject to being dismissed. Okay. But let's assume that they follow the law. This is the legal way in which to evict a person from your property. In the old days, when I was growing up, a landlord would come in, take the door off of the hinges.
Say what?
Yeah, that's in the old days. That's in the old days. Yeah. But we have the Texas Property Code now that the landlord has to follow that law in order to evict that person that fails to pay their rent or to breach the lease in another manner. They have to follow the law in order to evict them.
They have to follow the law.
Yes.
So they just can't come in and throw you out. And but if they haven't followed the letter of the law, the person that's renting, they have an opportunity to come to court and get an injunction against that?
Yes, they have the opportunity to come to court, and let's say that they have a lease. Hopefully all of this is governed by a lease. If they have a lease and the landlord failed and refused to follow what's stated in the lease, that person can come to court and point that out to the judge. Judge, they did not give me a written notice to vacate.
Right.
Judge, my rent is due on the 1st, late about the 3rd. I took my rent in on April the 2nd. They refused to take my rent. And then we have to develop that case, sitting on the bench. We have to develop that case, and then we inquire of the landlord, did the tenant come in and try to pay their rent? Yes, but I refuse to rent. Well, that's not a non-payment issue. That's a refusal issue.
Okay.
That landlord's going to lose that case.
Okay.
Unless if they file that case for non-payment of rent, and the tenant came in with the money order, with the right amount of the rent, and the landlord failed and refused to accept it, that's not a non-payment issue.
I remember some years ago, I was riding, coming down, what is that, Hampton Road, and I was passing the projects there in West Dallas.
Okay.
And I saw all this stuff outdoors and everything. So I whipped off the road and went over into the project, and the constables were just packing people's stuff out. And I asked what was going on. They said they told me that, I think it was Pat Spears told me that they don't pay their rent. They only have to pay about $30 a month. They don't pay this, and they get sit out and everything. So I became interested in that whole situation. Why is it, or what is it, why are they getting sit outdoors, and how do this whole thing work? And this how I wondered, how did it work then, and say in public housing and different things like that?
Well, once it reaches that point where they're set out, they have gone to court. The landlord, based on what you're telling me, was awarded judgment. And then after they received judgment, a couple of things happened. The tenant then had 5 days in which to file an appeal. And many tenants know that in order to file an appeal, you don't necessarily need any money, because the law will allow you to file an appeal with what's called a pauperous affidavit.
Right.
They can do that. And so what happened in this instance that you're demonstrating here, that the landlord, that they did receive judgment, the person apparently did not file an appeal, because with an appeal, everything stays as it is. It stops until the appeal runs its course.
Okay.
It appears that if there was an appeal, that it has run its course. The landlord went back to court and paid for what's called a writ of possession.
Okay.
What authorizes the constable then to go out. Now, one of the things that you said, Pastor, and Constable Gullet would get me if I didn't straighten this out. The constables don't do any work. They're there just to supervise, to keep the peace. That's their job.
Who actually do the setting out?
The landlord must provide the human resources
to
move the people out.
So the constables are just there to make sure there's no fighting.
There you go. That is it. That's the.
Oh, I thought they were the ones who packed.
No. They don't touch anything at all. They're there to keep the peace.
Yeah, law and order. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
They're peace officers.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's very interesting, because we have so many situations, so many things your court do. Truancy. I really want to talk about that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
What is explain truancy?
Truancy is multifaceted, but basically truancy, that involves where the students voluntarily, without a justified reason, fails to attend class. They're truant. They're absent without an excuse. When you have an excused absent and a non-excused absent, and when we have a non-excused absent, that person is truant. Now, what has happened, there is an evolution or even a revolution that's taking place now in the law regarding truancy. A lawsuit was filed, and truancy has now, by the Texas state legislature, been decriminalized. Because truancy, up until this point, when the district filed that case, that's a criminal act. And so students as early as the first grade, second grade, they were having criminal charges filed against them.
Wait a minute.
Now, that's in the past now. Thank God.
Yeah. But they actually did this to a first grader?
Well, yes, because that was the law.
Did they wipe their, those who this did happen to, did they wipe that slate clean?
Yeah.
They don't have this?
Under the changes of the law, those cases as far back as 1990, 1980, those cases, every court in the state of Texas had to go back into their files and expunge those records.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who can be a truant? Who can be in truancy? But does it last until what age, or what did it tell me about it for a child not going to school?
Under the law, under the old law, we don't have clarity, if you will, under the new law yet. They're still trying to straighten all of that out, if you will.
Right.
But under the old law, the student was responsible at the age of 18, but the parent was responsible up until the age of 17. You had a situation where you had the juvenile law, where it would then conflict with family law.
Okay.
And it said, family law said once a child turns 17, he or she would be considered as an adult.
Okay.
But the juvenile law said that they're still a juvenile. And so it based upon the evidence that was presented during the course of the trial, where as a judge we would have to make a decision: has that parent or that adult done all that they could do to get this young person to attend school, go to class as he or she should have been doing? And if they can do that, and then that 17-year-old would be held responsible for the action instead of placing that on the parents.
So it's basically left up to y'all's hand.
Yes.
To make a judgment on that one.
Yes, under the old law. Okay. Now, under the new law, the district will not be able to file a case against the student. It will be a civil case now, not a criminal act.
Okay.
It will be a civil matter, and those charges will be filed against the parent, not against the student.
Okay, but now, when you say civil, there will be some silver involved in that, won't it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
In other words, the parent will have to pay some fines.
Absolutely.
If their children are not going to school, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was wondering, how would this work? Because sometimes a great percentage of your people that will end up in your court will be sometimes the people that don't have the money to pay that. How does that work?
Well, we do encounter that, and those are issues that you can resolve the matter without money because you have community service. Okay? But our approach in Precinct 1, Judge Nash and myself both, we try to work with the family. There is a minimum fine, and it'll be $50.
Okay.
But the issue then becomes working with that family and trying to find out the underlying issue that's causing that young person not to go to class. And because what we have found, oftentimes truancy is not the problem. There are some underlying issues, and we need someone to get involved to find out what those issues are in order to resolve them, and that young person then to go to class.
I tell you what, we're up against the short. We're going to, and you can call us. You can reach us, 972-647-1893, and talk with Judge Jones this morning. But when we come back, I want to ask you something about who is likely not to go to school. Have you noticed that in your court? We'll be right back.
Okay.
Reading Partners is a non-profit organization that provides literacy intervention programs at elementary schools in low-income communities. At each school, Reading Partners works to transform a classroom into a reading center, recruiting community volunteers to serve as one-on-one tutors for struggling student readers. For more information and to volunteer, readingpartners.org.
Open arms and peaceful evermore. I know that everything is gonna be alright. He's coming back.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and our special guest this morning is Judge Thomas Jones. He's here. He's to answer your question. He'll answer your questions if you have something about court and legal things and these legal matters. He's an expert. Judge Jones, how long have you been on the bench?
I've been on the bench 24 years.
Has it been that long?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Left the Dallas School Board, transitioned over to the JP Court at the will of the people. The people made a decision that they wanted me to serve as a judge in the Justice of the Peace Court, and I got elected.
I remember. It just doesn't seem like it was 24 years ago.
Time goes by.
Boy, you getting old now.
Yes, sir. Yes, by the grace of God. The alternative to getting old is death.
Yeah, you don't want the alternative.
No.
But now here's what we are looking at. Why is it the average child that you meet in your court, why do they drop out?
Various reasons, and as I was indicating earlier, there are underlying issues that causes the student not to go the class. After serving on the school board, I was blessed where I could blend the two together. And one of the things in my truancy court, that I say to parents and I say to the students, that education begins at your house, not at the schoolhouse.
Right.
The schoolhouse primarily is there to expose you to education. Once you leave that schoolhouse, you go to your house, and that's where you get prepared at home to perform at school. Oftentimes, our students are not in a position to perform. Consequently, that leads them to not going to class because they're so afraid that the teacher was going to call upon them and they don't have the answer because they were not prepared at home. I ask all adults, listen, at a minimum, you should have 2 hours of uninterrupted study at your house every day. A minimum of 2 hours.
Do you think the family breakdown have anything to do with this?
Yes, that could be one of the issues. Often we have found sometimes children, the young people don't have shoes. They don't have clothes, and so therefore they don't go to class. They are embarrassed.
They're embarrassed.
Yes, and so we have to address those issues. And what we have found, once we work with the family and we address those underlying issues, that young person attends class.
We have Miss Shoes for My Children right here producing my show. And I often think about Reverend Scott. People would know her then as Benita Tyler. Producing Shoes for My Children. That might have helped a lot of children to go to school.
Yes, absolutely.
And not drop out.
Right.
Because they had decent shoes to wear to school.
Right.
You know what I see a lot of times on cold days? I hate cold days in Dallas. You know why? I can get out and get in my car and ride down the street. I see children with blankets and sheets on. They don't have coats.
Yeah.
See, what in the world is going on? But I also see some of the same kids with $200 sneakers on.
Yeah. It's misplaced value. Misplaced value. We have become a materialistic society. And our children, they are a part of the society that we have created for them to exist in.
Well, but just seemed like when we were kids, our parents wouldn't have gone for that.
Well, that's because
you were going to have your coat and shoes to wear to school, and you wasn't going to go, they wasn't going to go buy you. Back then, I guess $9.99 pair of kids, or what you call the Chucks, All Stars was the best sneaker you could buy.
Yeah.
You didn't even think about mess like that.
I know, but now you have so many competing interests. Everything, people want you to buy this and to buy that instead of focusing on that young person who happens to be our future. We have to get that young person ready. That's what I like about what Judge Nash, Constable Gully, and what we do in trying to work with the young people. We sponsored Pastor this past at the beginning of this school year. We were able to team up with a gentleman by the name of Rule Hamilton, and we sponsored and we gave away some 500 backpacks for the students where they have school supplies. That's not a requirement, a legal requirement of our job, but it's a moral responsibility.
But in a way, it helps your job too.
Oh yes, yeah. But we were there, and we provided the supplies through Mr. Rule Hamilton to over 500 children.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll be fair. I'm going to take some calls now.
Okay.
All righty. Reverend Scott, who do we have?
We have Ike on line 2.
All righty. Good morning, Ike.
Good
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Judge Jones?
Mr. Scott, I'm doing fine, sir.
That's Mr. Ike Steen.
Mr. Ike Steen.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. I just got a couple of questions and issues with some of the stuff that go on with truancy. Not trying to target you, but I had bad experience with truancy courts in the past. And one of them, we had a real bad situation with one of my kids back in the day, where they was attending school, but it was always like a class here or a class there. They had missed class, or maybe a substitute teacher didn't know they was there or something like that. And my issue was, I had to argue with the school system. He missed fourth period or third period, but he was here the rest of the day. Then we wind up in truancy court, and I wind up ripping and running back and forth from your court back to the school, from your court back to the school. They had me like on a yo-yo string, you know.
Okay.
You send me back to the school, and I go up there and get some records. They send me, then they say you called, and it was a big mess with the whole thing. My wife wound up with a warrant for her arrest for not showing up because one of the people that caseworkers supposed to did something and didn't do it. But my whole thing is, a kid is at school and maybe they get suspended for 3 days, and that comes into they being counted absent, and sometimes the school records are not accurate. But then y'all punish the parents, like you say. If my kid is at school, but it was a couple of classes that was interrupted or not being, somebody was a substitute teacher or something, then you say, well, the parent going to have to pay a fine and stuff like that. So, I mean, I take issue with that. I think there's got to be a better system of check and balances because, it's hard to punish a parent when a parent is at work and the kid is at school, but, so they're being counted absent.
Yeah. One of the things I would ask first, if that was in my court,
Yes, it was in your court, because me and you had issues about it. It's been some years ago.
Yeah, because I generally
go on and on now. Because matter of fact, it got so bad that me and one of the assistant administrators at school had words in your court about this, because the principal had gave me a letter stating that it had been some missteps on the school behalf, and the assistant principal was pushing for the kids to be, whatever y'all courts were going to do. And I had a big issue with that.
Yeah, and based upon what you're saying, I would have an issue with it. But let me try to address some of what you're pointing out here, where you saying that the child was at school and you were at work, and so it's the responsibility of the school. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Christian radio station, and I'm reminded of, it says that, lo, that I'm with you always. And I take that and apply it to a parent and their children, and that is that child, my child, should obey me whether I am around or not. And when I sent Regina to Carter at Atwell, when I sent her to Carter High School, I should not have to be there to make her go to class. She knows that she went to school, and it was her job, it was her responsibility to go to every class, not to hang around the locker, not to take an extra lunch period, but to go into that classroom and be exposed to educational opportunities. And I guess the point that I am attempting to make is that when you send your child to school, they need to go to every class, because you want them to get the appropriate education that will assist them in the future. Yeah.
Well, I understand that. I understand what you're saying about appropriate education and all that. But I'm saying that when the role is taken and the kid is in class and somebody has made a misstep in the attendance process, see, I think that's where we kind of cross wires at right there. See, I had to go back up to the school and get the attendance record straight.
Okay.
And when I did that, I was still getting a runaround from your court, and from the school would send me back. It was Atwell School at the time. I would go up to Atwell. They would give me a letter saying look, we made a mistake right there. This absence doesn't count. We had a substitute teacher this day. Go back down to the courthouse, and y'all would send me back there without even looking at the paperwork sometimes. Just,
well, that case should have been dismissed, sir. That case should have been dismissed.
After
okay.
I pushed the issue because I'm not going to get into a lot of details because
okay.
me and you didn't set horses on that particular case. But I'm still saying that if a kid is at school and maybe they went to the bathroom or something and they was counted absent or the roll was taken, but you know, a kid missed one class at school, and you could say, well, the parents' responsibility was to train their kids to go to class, you know, and that is so. But we all know that our kids, because we were kids, are not going to do everything that they was trained to do. But
no, that's why they're children. But let me say that if you will not be in anyone's court on one unexcused
no, it's
absence.
more than one occasion.
You know, it has to be at a minimum of 3 unexcused absence, even before the school could file the case. But now, what has happened, Pastor? They cannot file those cases now. Before they file a truancy case now, the school must demonstrate they have attempted intervention.
Right.
Oh, the school have to make a move.
Yeah,
now.
the school.
I don't want to be argumentative, but let me make this statement before I go. One of the things you said was that the parent, see, this is another thing I don't like, the parent. So if a kid do get into a little truancy, then the kid doesn't get a record, which is great. But now you punishing the parent for something that, you know, they got to try to correct at home. They got to try to get this kid to go to class, and a lot of times you'll find out that you got all different kind of things going on with the kid,
right?
The teachers or other students. It could be all kind of incidents. But if a kid is at school most of the day and a couple of classes sometimes are missed or skipped or whatever, and the parent get punished instead of getting a chance to correct this, I think we still got some issues with the system.
Well, the system now, I think that's the point I am attempting to make. It may not be doing a good job of it. That process, sir, has now changed. That case will not be filed. The school district now, they have to demonstrate the intervention that they have taken to assist that family before they file that case. And if they don't do that, that case will not go to court.
Okay, well, thanks, because I think we have.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, have a great day.
All right,
okay,
thank you. Thank you for your calling coming. The closing line, 972-647-1893. Reverend Scott, who do we have?
We're going to Beverly, and she's on line 3.
All righty. Good morning, Beverly.
Good morning, Pastor Barnett, and good morning, Judge Jones.
Good morning. Good morning.
But anyway, I have 2 comments. You know, Judge Jones, I'm going to get twisted, Judge and Pastor. But anyway, Judge Jones, I agree with you on a lot of these things. Now, school is to enhance what you're doing from home. Did not say this, Pastor Barnett. This comes from the home. We expect too much for the schools to do a job that we should be doing at home.
Right.
Now, the other issue that I have, I don't have an issue, but I want to ask the question. What if a child runs away from home and this truancy takes place? Would you be excused from the truancy if you called the police to report your child as a runaway? Would that take you off the hook?
No, just a report. Thanks for the question. Just calling in would not dismiss that case. What I've asked for, what action has been taken, number one, to try to locate that child, because we have a runaway that needs to be reunited with that family. So basically, that case would not be filed. What I have done in my court is that I would appoint a mentor to work with that family, the law enforcement agencies, to locate that child, to see why did that child run away from a loving home. Something happened, and it could be they wanted to be with their friends. So you would not be penalized.
That's what I need to know. Thank you, guys. Have a great
Thank you. Thank you for your call and comment. That clears the line. 972-647-1893. Who do we have, Rev Scott?
Pastor Barnett, we're going to Robert on line 4.
All righty. Good morning, Robert.
Yes, Reverend. I really enjoy your show every week.
Thank you.
I had a question for your guest and yourself, and this is to do with my
do you have your radio on? I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We can't hardly hear you. Hello?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, good. All right. Go right ahead.
I just have a real quick question to ask you and your guest. On my QMB with my Medicaid, I messed up and had an issue with it, and they're working on it. But is it legally true that they can cut my insurance off until it's straightened out, and then I can't even see my doctor?
Well, we have Judge Jones on. He was talking about the position he has in Dallas County and certain things, but I don't think you handle medical cases.
No, I don't.
I really don't know, but I tell you what I will do. It's getting late now. If someone like Dr. Edwards or one of the physicians that are listening, if you can call and answer that question for you, because I know I can't answer that particular question, but one of you doctors, Dr. Edwards or somebody, if y'all listen, would you, if you can get in, y'all bring him to the front if he can get in, if he can get a line. But I thank you for your call and comment. We'll try to get you an answer.
Thank you.
That clears the line. 972-647-1893. Preacher, who do we have?
We have Sandra, Rev Barnett Crenshaw on line 1.
All righty. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Doing
wonderful.
Fine. What about yourself?
I want to ask 2 questions. One about the HUD, the new HUD director, Dr. Ben Carson, and about DART. Before I ask the question, I want to know if...
I thought Ben Carson, he's over housing. Housing.
Top administrator.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Go right ahead, Sandra.
Well, you don't have to answer this, but the pleasure of you being on the show, does that have anything to do with? You don't have to answer now. Have anything to do? Is this a sign of the trial or anything, or anticipation? Don't answer that. What I want to talk to you
about.
Which
trial are you talking about?
I'm talking about the public corruption trial.
Public corruption.
You don't have to answer. Did Dr. Ben Carson with HUD, when he was in town, did they meet with the JPs?
No.
Okay. And, do y'all do evictions in for HUD?
We handle the eviction for all housing agencies within our precinct. HUD is involved in whether it's an eviction, whether it's in mortgage. That's a federal program that is tentacles far and wide, and we and they're not necessarily under HUD like the public housing. You don't see it listed as HUD, but the funding comes from HUD to the public housing. So, yes, we would handle those cases.
Well, I would like to know if you could join some of us who are very upset about the fact that when Dr. Carson was here, he was only taken to Monica Alonzo's district and Adam Madrano's district. And we have a lot of concerns, in the African-American community. And since they did not include, and y'all are a very important piece in the housing process, that you asked that, as I did, to have him meet with all of the JPs in Dallas County or in North Texas area, so that if there's some concerns from your perspective that, it can make an easier, a better process for your department. We certainly would appreciate that.
Okay. I was not invited to any of those sessions meetings, but
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to be invited.
The music is playing. I've got to take a short break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. You can reach us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back.
Are you on Twitter? Are you following KNON on Twitter? No? You can do so at KNON 89.3 FM. Keep up with all the events happening on air and off here at KNON. That's at KNON 89.3 FM. Give us a follow on Twitter today.
KNON presents a Saturday night Southern Soul Showdown at the Sons of Herman Hall, 3414 Elm Street in Dallas. Saturday, April the 29th, starring L.J. Echols and his band. Singing all of his hits, dragging that wagon from the back and more. Also the son of a blues man is Fat Daddy and his band. Also Miss Shawnette Hyder and her band, singing stilettos and many more. Hosted by yours truly, Greg A. Smith. And DJ Louisiana Red will be spinning Southern Soul and Blues. A lavish dinner provided by Gator Pit Barbecue. Serving ribs, links, chicken, baked beans, potato salad, and dinner rolls. VIP tickets are available for early admission, best seats, and first to eat. Doors open at 6 p.m. for VIP and 7 p.m. for general admission. Show starts at 8 p.m. A special table of 10 for Ladies Night Out package is available on KNON.org. Tickets available at the Forever Young Records, Bill's Records, Elaine's Kitchen, and KNON.org. For more information, 469-471-4180. Sponsored by Aaron's Transmission.
All the true and good.
All right, we are back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Nita Tyler is Scott. Reverend Scott is the producing. Young man, again, what's your name?
I am Jason the intern.
Hey, Jason the intern. Jason. And our special guest this morning is Judge Thomas Jones. Alrighty, who do we have coming out?
Actually, we have Malcolm online too, Reverend.
Okay, we got a lawyer, I think. It's Malcolm Robinson. Good morning, Malcolm.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. You have a very, very, very popular guest on your show.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You set me up for something.
No,
you must have a case coming before next week.
No, I don't have any case before Judge Jones at the present time. But my question deals with the if and how the truancy laws have any application against charter schools, private schools, and homeschool. That's my question, and I'll hang up and listen.
That's a great question.
Yeah, the only one that I am aware of, Mr. Malcolm, is that where I would not have any jurisdiction is the homeschooling.
Okay.
The charter school within our precinct file with our JP courts, and we do handle truancy for the charter schools. And so I guess that's the answer. Yeah, the truancy laws they will apply to the public school, the charter school, also the private school.
Okay, yeah. So you have everything but the homeschool.
Everything but the homeschool.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is he go? All righty. Thank you for your call. That clears the line, 972-647-1893. Reverend Scott, who do we have?
Yes, sir. Pastor, we're going to Dwayne on line 3.
All righty. Good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning, Pastor.
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's a blessed morning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Family's doing well.
Yeah.
Just calling.
Dwayne, are you is wind blowing into your phone? So we can't hear you hardly.
Oh, okay.
All right, now go right ahead and speak now, so can we hear you?
Yes. Question to Judge Jones here. You know, I've been a couple of encounters with you, sir, up in your office up there on Polk and Transition. The deal is that I had a ticket, like a train ticket or whatever, and you mailed me a bill to pay, a court date. Well, when I went to court, Judge Jones, all due respect to you, sir, for your position and everything, but you have an arrogant overtone. I wanted to pay some payments on this ticket. I'm unemployed, and this is the ticket that's keeping me from getting my license. Well, Judge Jones said he don't take no partial payments, no half payments. He wants the full amount. And by being unemployed, and I know I can speak for a few people who go in your court who has to pay these fines, we just don't have the money. I was wondering, why can we make partial payments or make a payment plan or work release or something like that? Because this is keeping me from getting my driver's license. Everything is clear, but a ticket out of your court. And so when I went to, try to set up a payment plan or a work release or something to work this off to get my license, you told me you taking all payments in full. And I can't understand that because, Dallas, they can set up a payment plan or work release, but your office, and 90% I will see is African American in your office, and you demanding full payment, and everybody don't have full payment. Why is that, sir?
Well, number one, that is not the case, and I'm trying to see, you probably went to another court, and there was someone that was pretending to be me, but that was not me. That is not my court. I think if you would check Dallas County records, I am probably the only court that give you a 30% reduction in the fine. I have one of the most generous payments plan in Dallas County. You have the option of paying the fine in one lump sum. You have the option of dividing it into 2 equal payments and get 30 days for each one of those time periods, or you can divide it into 4 equal payments and have 30 days. So instead of having 30 days, you have 120 days. So I'm saying that you're getting some misinformation regarding payment plans. I have the most generous payment plan in Dallas County. And the other thing is that a person can take care of their financial obligation through community service. Dallas County, they have a community service program. Now, I think one of the things now that we do, if there's a hold on a person's license, that hold will not be lifted until such time as that ticket is paid in full. But you don't have to make that payment in full. Now, you're talking about a DART ticket, Pastor. Mm-hmm. Those tickets, number one, when DART issued those tickets, you can take care of it within 30 days.
Now, what's a DART ticket?
Called fare evasion. And that is when the officer, if you're on the bus or train and the officer asks for proper proof of fare, you show your ticket. Right. You can do that by the paper ticket, or now you have people with called a smartphone. Right. There's that application that's on the phone. All you do is hit a button and activate it and show it to the officer. That's it. But if you don't show proper proof of fare, then you get a fare evasion ticket.
You get a ticket.
If
you jumped on and didn't pay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or let's say that you paid, but you can't find your ticket. You lost your ticket. You may have a pocket full of money, but the officer's not asking for money. The officer's asking for the ticket that you paid.
But now, you said something, you give 4 payments or so many payments on a ticket. I have never had that. Every ticket I ever got, I had to pay that ticket. In fact, you go down to some of these small towns, you're going to pay that ticket right then.
Absolutely. So when I tell people, if you get a ticket, get it in my court, because I'm going to give you a payment penalty.
I have to call once I get another ticket. Put it in Judge Jones' court, because they make me pay the whole ticket at once.
No. No, we have a very generous payment plan, but I've
never heard of that.
I don't want to mislead anyone. If there is a hold on your license, that hold will not be lifted until that payment is made in full. At 4 or 5 years ago, we would allow people to make a payment plan and lift the whole.
They once we lift more,
they wouldn't pay anymore.
Yes. Okay. All right. We thank you for your call and comment. All right. That closes line 972-647-1893. Who do we have, Reverend Scott?
Well, Reverend Barnett, we're going to Veronica on line 4.
Do we have Dr. Edwards on there?
Yes, sir, we do.
God, bring Veronica on, but get me Dr. Edwards. I see it down the list.
Yes.
Bring me Dr. Edwards on.
Let's go to Dr. Edwards.
No, bring Veronica on since she called the name. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to line 4 then.
Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for bringing Veronica on because I'm on my way to the funeral. But I want to say thank you, Judge Jones. I think you're doing an awesome job. I'm going to piggyback on about the school district.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you to make a video of what you're saying so when the parents are in their meeting with the school district, they can see that they have a person that has great concern about what's going on with the kids at home in the school. So I just want to say you're doing awesome. This is a beautiful thing. I wish you were doing it back then.
Thank you.
Because I did. I had to go to the principal myself due to the point he knew the mother and know the son and know the mother wasn't playing with the son. So I didn't get to your courtroom. God is good.
All the time. All the time.
Yes, he is. But I gotta go, y'all. I'm at Golden Gate, so I thank you for your time.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Your
Thank
check's in the mail. All right.
Pastor Burnett, that takes us now to Dr. Edwards on line 2.
All righty. Good morning, Doc.
Hello, Rev Barnett. How you doing?
Fine.
And Judge Jones, I've been before his court before. Don't want to go back. I plan not going back, but no, he's a very fair man.
Thank you, Doctor.
The lady came in all about the Medicare issues with Medicare. What was it mainly that she was not? There was some transactions that were unsettled, and she wanted to know if the Medicare her insurance actually was viable. And I think that I don't know all the circumstances. I had talked with her, but once if she had to go to the physician's office or whatever the case is where she used that, they normally verify if it's active or inactive, and so she would have to, if there's some issues in between that, she could actually, go to her doctor or primary care, or actually call Medicare themselves and see if it's active. Now the legal aspect of it, I don't really deal with, but she can call Medicare. They have a 1-800-888 number. You can call and find out if your card is still active and can't be used. So that's kind of based upon what I heard her, asking, you. I don't think that there's any justice of peace court that will take that, because that's a federal issue.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you remember exactly? I've forgotten really some of that question. I remember some of it, but some of it I forgot.
It's something. If there, Doctor, I think she was saying that if there was a problem with her Medicaid or Medicare. Would it stop her insurance from being valid? Yeah.
Right. She can call, and like I said, there's a number should be on the back of her card that it gives any information that she needs, because they do that at the doctor's office, at the emergency room, or whatever the case, at the hospital. They call to verify to make sure that it is active, and if it's not active, then she can call Medicare or K or whichever one that it is to find out what is the reason for the hold or whatever the case is. So she would have to be able to, she would have to call to actually do that, unless she's going, that she goes to a physician or something like that.
All righty. Thank you, Doc. You're a lifesaver as always.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. All righty. All right. Let me try to get as many in as I possibly can.
Well,
do we have a job line?
Yes.
Oh, job line's here? Okay, bring him out. Okay.
Line 4.
All right. Mr. Greg Barber in our SAT job line. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
Yes, fine. Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line, brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on KNON 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Unified Power as customer service representative. They're asking you to apply online at HR@Unified Power. That's UNIFEDPO.com. WERUSA.com. Once again, Unified Power is looking for customer service representatives asking you to apply at HR@UnifiedPowerUSA.com. Clean Harbors is looking for customer service representatives asking you to apply online at www.careers.cleanharbors.com. Once again, Clean Harbors looking for customer service representatives asking you to apply online at www.careers.cleanharbors.com. Professional Flooring is looking for warehouse representatives asking you to apply online at www.professional flooring FLOORING.com. Once again, that's Professional Flooring looking for warehouse representatives asking you to apply online at www.professionalflooring.com. FedEx looking for package handlers asking you to apply online at www.groundwarehousejobs.fedex.com. Once again, FedEx looking for package handlers asking you to apply online at www.groundwarehousejobs.fedex.com. Bostic is looking for a production operator. They're asking you to apply online at www.bostic.hodesiq.com. Once again, that's Bostic looking for a production operator. They're asking you to apply online at www.bostic.hodesiq.com. If you are a person affected by addiction and needs assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and needs assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and needs assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and needs assistance with job searches, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Excellent show, Rev Barnett.
Thank you.
Last for change. He's going to make us great again. We just might be on our way. with the recent events. We just...
Yeah, we on our way. I believe, ain't no belief. I know we on our way. Yeah,
that's the
right.
spark that got this whole thing going.
Yeah, that's right. But a great job as always. Great job as always, Greg. All right, Judge Jones, we got about 20 seconds. Can you give us a wrap up of everything, man? I'm so glad to have you on, and we want to get you and Judge Nash and
Constable Gully.
Constable Gully on. We have a full show on law enforcement. Getting a lot of people get to understand a lot of things about truancy in schools and different things like that. So, but thank you for coming.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for the invitation.
Got to go, Thank you. Got to get out here and see y'all at church in the morning at 8 o'clock. At the Town Place Suites tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. That's between Wheatland and I can't think of the name of the street, but anyway, 999 Barrymore. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye bye.
All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.